This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. It was a nightmare.
Flight 807, you're clear for landing. Runway 7, Bravo. All personnel report to the nearest tornado shelter. This is not a drill.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Now, as usual, I give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it first, followed by a movie clip, a skit, a trailer, or something that's going on in the community, or maybe some pictures. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week, folks. So let's waste no time. Ooh-wee! It's cooking. Let's get to it. Story number 1. New 15-year deal at the Cavelli Center. The Youngstown Phantoms hockey team has agreed to a 5-year extension with 5-year options to continue playing home games at the Cavelli Center, according to a local Mediator article. The new contract will take effect for the 2022-2023 season. The team's rent jumped from $3,750 to $4,500, with an annual increase of 1.5%. According to the local article. Now, the article goes on to mention more about the deal, but what got this story in is the continued success of the city-owned Cavelli Center. That's why story number 1 made it this week. Story number 2. Butler Arts is expanding with state funds. The Butler Institute of American Art in Youngstown has received funds to expand its footprint in the downtown region. $115,871 is the number of funds received, if not more, according to a report published July 30th. In the local Mediator report, the Butler Arts has been on the move, offering everybody a chance to see free exhibits downtown. Big headline. Story number 3. 20 Federal Street still in top headlines. The 20 Federal Street saga is still in the headlines and in front page news. On July 30th, an agency reported that the tenants will get no financial help to relocate, but will be given more time to move. The tenants will be given until September to relocate, but overall, this is a sad situation because most of the tenants have been in the building for quite some time and have nowhere to go, and they are overwhelmed at the level of attention that this bad news has been bringing. Now, the entire story has caught the attention of a lot of people doing business inside of the city. The more this story develops, the more questions are being asked. That's why story number 3 made it this week. Story number 4. Delphi retirees could have something to look forward to. Delphi retirees made 2 key headlines proving that Congress could finally be moving to act on their long-awaited benefits plan. Now, July 28th, a front-page Mediator article focused on the Susan Muffley Act bill, which could restore 20,000 salaried retirees' pensions. The U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown, Ohio U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown, Democrat, plans to fast-track the bill to get it to the president's desk. Now, another article followed on July 29th, reporting on the struggle that the retirees have been through to get to this point. Now, so far, the bill has some very big endorsements. The story is still developing. Big headline. Story number 5. Contracts, council, and the mayor. The Youngstown Street Department has been in consistent headlines about their contracts. The most recent news published July 28th puts their business at the center of city council votes. Now, the gripe is over a 2% raise this year and a 2.5% annual raise in 2023 and 2024. The main talking point in this fact that the raises that they're calling for. They're saying that they want a lump sum, so they're talking about a $500 lump sum payment rather than the raises being retroactive, according to a local Vindicator article. Now, the report mentions other contracts as well, like the city's plan to move forward with 20 federal street construction plans. Story number 5, big headline. That's why I made it. Almost made it to the top 3 this week. Big headline. Story number 6, hospitalizations from COVID-19 are back on the upswing. Ohio hits the 1K mark for hospitalizations of COVID-19. Nursing homes are also back in the headlines due to rising cases. Cases in Ohio have increased by 58% overall. Now, if you want to look at it from this way, there are still mixed feelings about the seriousness of COVID-19 and if shutdowns were worth it. So there's still a lot going on. But either way you look at the COVID-19 effect, according to Worldometer, they say that 6,428,085 people. This is the big number. That's probably why I slipped on it. Big number. They're saying that that's how many people have died worldwide from the COVID-19 outbreak as of August 4th, 2022. That is a big number, and that's why story number 6 is so important. I almost made it to the top 2 this week. Story number 7 and the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Whew. This is a job that takes dedication, consistency. It takes a few nutritional drinks to stay awoke at night, trying to find, going through over 200 or more stories every week to keep you informed. That is the goal, and that's why we get these top 2 stories, folks. Ooh, yeah. It takes a lot of work. Yes, but I don't mind doing it for the greater good. Story number 7. Landfill news, drug abuse help over incarceration, and killing number 14 in the city. Here are 3 trending stories in this headline. $1.4 million is the dollar number set aside for transporting landfill sludge. City officials have agreed to sign a 2-year contract for a landfill to continue to take in waste at a higher cost. The higher cost includes a 30% increase in money that you got to spend for all this. Now, the local article cites inflation as the reason for the rise in this cost to handle the sludge. Felony drug courts have also made headlines in a deal to help steer some of the people facing criminal prosecution from substance abuse related charges so they're saying that they're going to try to get them to seek treatment instead of going to prison. See how that works out. Everybody's trying to stop people from going to prison, but there's a ripple effect to that. Now, another story in circulation shines light on the crime rate. The city is investigating its 14th killing of the year after a 46-year-old man was found fatally shot on the city's south side on Florida Avenue. A suspect, John Morgan, has been taken into custody. That's why story number 7 made it to the top 2. Local headlines and developing news stories this week. Big headline. Story number 8 at the top local headline and developing news story that made it this week for you. Ooh, don't you feel the top story? Don't you feel it, baby? Takes a lot to give you these stories. Navigating, dissecting, and giving you the gospel of mediation, the top 8 international headlines and developing local news stories that made it. So let's get to this top story. Story number 8. Yes. Story number 8. Local voters are very concerned about the local elections. Local radio analysts and commentators are voicing their concerns about the most recent election. Youngstown, 59th District, Lauren McNally, Democrat, set to face off against 2 independents in November. Ward, 64th District, Vincent Peterson, Democrat, set to face off against Republican Nick Santucci. Now, voters are also concerned about Republicans who are being outspent and outnumbered at the polls. Local Democrat Tim Ryan is outspending J.D. Vance and just about every conservative is talking about Tim Ryan's long run as congressman and how he has been a career politician. There's been a lot of talk. Now, they're also voicing their concerns about his record, saying that he hasn't done really much. Now, either way, November 8th will be an interesting election. Current conditions and issues could be the key to getting a better turnout. We'll see how that turns out. Now, this story is still developing. Well, folks, those are our top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that I made this week. I'll be right back with the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories. So don't you go anywhere. You're in the Mediator. Me, Brad West. I'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Check out Lady Perez this week on our internet podcast, internet show. She will be talking about her newest film, Penny and the Willow Tree, where I also play in that film. And are you excited?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I cannot wait, especially for the premiere. There's going to be food, a fashion show with the local artists from here. And you're going to not only get to see the soundtrack, a music video, so much talent you're going to see.
August 14th at 6 p.m. at the Holiday Inn in Boardman. She is a local talent, and she will be on display. I want to thank you, and just check her out this week. Thank you. I'm going to get back to the show, but check her out this week on our Listen and Learn segment. Lady Perez, everybody. I'm going to schedule you back in about a week, all right? Put you on 10 milligrams. If you need any refills, you got to let me know, all right?
I didn't become a doctor to drug people.
Give up on your dream, John. You cannot cure crazy.
But he's one of my patients.
No, patience! Well, tell him to stop coming here and robbing me!
Are you married? I see your ring. Yeah.
But all I know is I need you and you will need me.
Why don't you have your wedding photos up?
Well, I have my reasons for that.
No! You don't know anything about my patients, Kathy. You don't know anything about what these kids, these parents are going through out here. There's a jungle out here, Kathy. So stay your lane.
I don't have a chemical imbalance. I just want to go home.
Together, we can make magic.
Please don't leave me this way!
I'm gonna need therapy after this. Come on, check and see if I'm okay.
Hey, Doc. Don't let me down. Because those meds, they're working.
Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made this week. Folks, I'm starting to realize that animals have a way of communicating, especially when they are hungry or need some type of a service. My mom has this little dog. His name is Casper. And this dog, I'm starting to reinterpret his language, his body language. After years of being with this dog and giving him haircuts and making him look like Simba with some wild haircuts, I'm starting to realize that this dog has a way of communicating. Now, there's a lot of pet enthusiasts out there. So the dog comes up to me the other day, and I'm starting to feel his vibes. And it seems like he's concerned about the economy. And it was very, very unusual. So I'm sitting at the dinner table. I went to go visit my mom, and he comes over, and I'm going to reinterpret his body language in English. And he's rubbing on my leg. He's, hey, man, hey. What happens if your mom loses her job? Who's going to feed me? So I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh. Then he started to get a little deeper. Theological, stuff like that. Hey, Brian, I hope you guys don't mind me urinating all over the floor. I have no mate. Thank you for not neutering me or spading me. Thank you, Brian. Then he goes over to his little corner. He gives me a very, very, very sentimental look. He picks up his leg and he pisses right on the bookshelf. That's when I knew that dogs are special. And animals have a way of communicating, and when they're concerned about economics and their living conditions, they do find a way to speak out. That's my story, folks, and I'm sticking to it. Let's get to it. Story number 1. Floods are a problem in the year 2000s, the 21st century. The death toll after a Kentucky flood has this story making headlines. 37 or more deaths are counting. Families left traumatized and a lot of people left homeless. The crisis is in the details, and how much time it will take to recover is also a concern. America's flood recovery history after tragedies like these is not good, folks. Many neighborhoods from past flooding incidents are still yet to recover fully. Kentucky adds to a long list of America recovery woes, and this story that's what got the story in, and it is still developing. That's what story number 1 made in this week. Story number 2. New oil news is talking profits in times of heavy inflation. So oil companies are making some money, at least the ones in the headlines. BBC reports that BP has seen its biggest profit in 14 years due to the surge in energy bills. Now, according to the article, profits hit $8.45 billion, adding fuel to the debate about whether oil companies are profiting over high oil prices. The story is still developing, and as gas prices continue to fluctuate, more emphasis will fall on oil prices. Story number 2 made it this week. Big headline. Story number 3. Iran and Al-Qaeda back in the headlines. Yeah, Iran's atomic energy chief has made headlines by stating that the country could build a nuclear weapon but has no plans to. If Iran's nuclear ambitions are for peaceful purposes remain a mystery, because that's what they've been stating. The U.S. has been in and out of nuclear deals with Iran for years, and at the moment talks have stalled. Another headline that made it in is referring to the Middle East is most wanted Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri has also made headlines. Zawahiri. I'm pretty sure I got it right. They have so many different names. First we had Bin Laden, and we have al-Zawahiri. Zawahiri. Ooh, that's a special name. Now, they're saying that he has made headlines after being killed in a drone strike, according to major news sources. That's pretty scary now, because he's been on the most wanted list for a long time. That was 9/11. It is now 2022. Each story is still developing, with more details emerging every day, especially if this was really the case, if he has really been assassinated. So this story is still developing. That's why story number 3 made it this week. Zawahiri. Ooh. But chills in you. Story number 3. Didn't think like that. It would be a terrorist name. It sounds like somebody who would be a little bit more sentimental. Big headline. Story number 4. Violence against cops carries on after a video was leaked of a Florida officer grabbing another female officer by the throat after lashing out at a sustained suspect. More news about police business continues to make top national headlines. And what makes these stories so critical is consistency. Just about every week there's been news portraying flaws in America's police force, people even attacking cops and killing cops. But many are highlighting the complex conditions that today's officers have to face as the reason for these flaws and what's actually taking place. Now, as cities look to fight crime, and police fight crime, and they're looking to police, and such stories will remain in headlines because they need police, because the crime rates are on the rise. Now, one of the only solutions is, once again, to beef up police protection. That's why story number 4 made it this week, folks. Well, those are our top 4 international headlines and developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with the top 4. So don't you go anywhere. You're in the Mediator. Me, Brian West. I'll be right back.
Tune in and don't forget to subscribe to Method 8 Inc. YouTube channel.
You can also watch free public entertainment. And don't forget to show some support by visiting www.method8inc.com by buying something, clicking something, watching something, or just reading something. You can also sponsor a program as well. That's www.method8inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
What does Method8Inc.com Media Center have that I need?
Small prints, event consulting, photography, business consulting, technical consulting, entertainment consulting, fundraising advice, event videography, movies, news, publishing, media, books, entertainment, acting, broadcasting, public relations, access to the visual and performing arts, ink and black ink refills, audio recording, graphic design, theater, minor computer and cell phone repair, and they're located at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. every Monday through Friday. The list goes on and on.
Method8Inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
Oh yeah! And yes, we are chipmunks.
If you want to check out the stories that almost made it in or did make it in, go to our Twitter feed on our website. Check out everything. All of the sources are there. And go to the website. It's method8inc.com. Method8inc.com where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 4 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Folks, are you tired of hearing about people arguing about who's better out of Biden and Trump? Are you tired of hearing about evil dictators wanting to span across the globe and killing as many mass people as possible? Well, folks, I want to give you a little bit of encouragement. Today, you've made the right decision to take a break and to listen to the stories mellowed out with a peaceful vibe, with a little smile. I'm not going to argue about who's right and who's wrong. I'm not going to go to the left or to the right, although I do tend to lean a little bit to the right. But I'm going to stay in the middle and listen and learn from each person. I'm going to stay here, get run over, get beat up, and try to mediate the best way I can. Because if anybody runs for president, the one thing they should have in mind is that we, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness and peace and joy and all that stuff that comes along in the Constitution. That's what we are made of in America. Don't you feel better now? A little tingly inside. Oh, beautiful, full, spacious sky. Ooh. Let's get to it, folks. There's a party in the USA, baby. And there's a party that's called Democrats, Republicans, and they are fighting it out every day. Let's get to it. Story number 5. Major drug busts amount to major crimes. 40 pounds of cocaine were found after California deputies were investigating a suspected drug dealer. The story highlights America's growing problem with drugs and how many families and communities have been destroyed because of drug abusers. There's some weird stuff that happens when somebody's on drugs. Weird stuff. Stuff comes up missing. People get arguments. I mean, weird stuff. Drug bust stories have been in quite a few headlines, putting mass attention on the most recent cases of the increased crime waves. So story number 5 made it this week. Big headline. Story number 6. Kids are getting caught in the middle of the crime wave. A drive-by shooting in Detroit hit a 2-year-old girl, putting more attention on how kids continue to get caught in the middle of crime waves, especially the crime wave, if you want to be specific. Now, the little girl is currently fighting for her life, and at the moment, it is unclear if the adults with the little girl were targeted in the shooting. So let's hope she survives. This show airs a little bit later, so I hope she's still alive when the show airs. But the story is still developing. So story number 6 almost made it to the top 2 this week because we got to think about the children out there. Big headline. Story number 7 in the top 2. International headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Whew, almost done, folks. Almost done. All of my life, I've waited for this moment to share a story with you. Don't you feel special about that? Don't you enjoy hearing me every week, every morning, getting up, being your coffee in the morning, your smile? Oh, yes, that's what mediation is all about. Story number 7, little hope controlling the border, folks. Little hope. It may now be impossible to tackle the immigration issue, folks, because according to a border official, the flow is nonstop and very consistent. At the moment, no one knows what or who has been smuggled into the United States of America over the years of stories haunted by lack of awareness and action at the U.S.-Mexico border. The border stories are real, folks, and at the moment, hope in handling the problem remains slim. That's why story number 7 made it this week. Big headline. Story number 8 in the top international headline and developing news story that made it this week. It's a beautiful day in the Mediator. It's a beautiful day for a mediator. Won't you be, please won't you be involved with my stories? It's a neighborly day for a beauty vein, a neighborly day for a mediator. Won't you be, please won't you be a mediator with me? I'm trying to coax you in with some love and peace in every story. Story number 8, outbreaks in the 21st century. Top story. Millions of lives destroyed by COVID-19 outbreaks, folks. Millions. 2 more children in the United States test positive for monkeypox, according to an ABC News report. Outbreaks continue to be a major concern, and how to control them is even worse. America has failed in its effort to contain the spread of COVID-19, and the efforts to beat the outbreak have caused more harm than good. So people just say we should just sit down. This virus is going to get everybody, and eventually there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing you can do about something that's invisible, but you can try. And they've tried a lot. It's failed. Every day as stories emerge, more people are starting to believe that all of the actions taken were just a waste of time and money. This story is still developing. That's why I made it to the top, because outbreaks are costing a lot of money, a lot of research, a lot of money, a lot of research, a lot of protection, PPE, all that stuff, and all lawsuits everywhere. Sort of big headline. Well, folks, those are our top 8 local and international headlines and developing news stories that made this week. I hope you get something out of today's program. I always get something out on the research. As usual, I'd like to thank all the news outlets, the journalists, the people on the front lines, the media. You deserve all the credit. I'm just the media, the man reading and analyzing your stories to keep everybody informed. If you want to show some support here at Methane, it does not take much. All you have to do is visit the website on the screen, buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for tuning to The Mediator. Me, Brad West. Peace.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.